Santa hat right here, but this motherfucker low as hell, bro. It's either my head too big or my hair. I got too much hair on. You know what I mean? Like, you feel me? Trying to get back in the Christmas spirit. Took so long for this hat to come there, and then just fucked me over. Like, that's not the hat. That's not even the hat that I really wanted when they tweaking. We still gonna thug it out though. You know me.
No, police department. Yeah, how you doing, ma'am? I'm looking for my sister to go over there. What happened? I'll speak to you over here for a second. Right now there's an investigation, and I guess it's your daughter? Yeah, that's my daughter. Your daughter, her name came up, so we have to keep everybody out of the apartment.
Police arrived at the home of 17-year-old Christy Parisian, where her mother was informed that Christy had become involved in a strange and violent incident. About an hour earlier, officers had discovered the body of an 18-year-old boy named Dwight Grant near a nearby apartment complex, brutally stabbed to death.
Stabbed to death?
Can you guys go back inside for me? Can you go back inside, please? No.
Bitch, I got some errands to do. What you talking about? I would've hit him with the nigga. I got some errands to run, nigga. Y'all do your estimation and shit like that, investigation and shit like. Y'all do that, nigga. I'm finna walk that way. Y'all go do y'all shit over there. I'm finna go this way.
18-year-old.
I hate when I used to say this. Hey, stay inside. Stay inside.
For this 18-year-old from Miramar High School, and instead, officers found a body.
As new clues surfaced and the investigation continued, police uncovered a hidden conflict between Dwight and 3 of his classmates from Miramar High School.
Damn, nigga, I slammed.
To track all 3 of them down as quickly as possible to figure out what had really happened, what each of their roles was, and more importantly, why. But what detectives were about to learn about how this murder happened, why it happened, and just how complicated it truly was, turned out to be far more shocking than anyone expected.
You can't get away with nothing! There's cameras everywhere.
Oh, hell no.
File your taxes 100%.
I know my dude's trying to get him to talk right here while the police right there in their face. Chill out, fool. Fuck happened?
Something was very wrong. Her 18-year-old son, Dwight Grant, who most of his friends called DJ, hadn't come home that day. DJ wasn't the kind of kid who disappeared without saying anything. He was responsible, focused on school, and always kept his family informed. His sudden silence was completely out of character. This was the beginning of a terrifying mystery for his family. No matter how hard they tried, no one could get in touch with DJ. He wasn't answering calls, he wasn't with any of his friends, and no one had seen him. By Monday morning, the worry exploded. DJ didn't show up to any of his classes, something that never happened. His teachers noticed immediately, his friends noticed, and his family knew something was seriously wrong. His family and friends checked every place he might have gone, called every person he might have been with, drove through neighborhoods, handed out flyers. Nothing. Police even went to the high school, hoping someone there might know where he'd gone. Officers spoke to students one by one. At this point, even the smallest detail could be the clue they needed.
Anxiety, depression, so like she would.
She has anxiety?
No, I have
Okay,
this.
so you will check on you. Do you know the girl that he's speaking to or trying to talk to?
No.
No, does he have a girlfriend?
Not to my knowledge, no.
No? Okay. Alright. So you haven't seen him or what's up?
We gotta back him out.
Okay, so you haven't spoken to him since. Is this his behavior? Like, does he do? He's a good kid?
He's a good kid. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He goes out. He has a plan. He goes out with his friends. He calls literally all of us all the time to let us know, like, what's up, how you are.
Okay. Alright.
To everyone who knew him, DJ was quiet, calm, and spent most of his free time gaming. He wasn't the type to get into fights, he didn't cause trouble, and he had zero history of reckless behavior. Nothing in his past suggested he'd ever disappear or end up involved in something dangerous.
It's given. They probably just killed. They just was picking on bro, bullying on him, in front of like the house or just like around the people, you know what I'm saying? Then just like did them the worst way, bro, for no fucking reason. You feel me? I hope that's not what happened.
For DJ continued through Tuesday of that same week. Then, around 2 p.m., while officers were canvassing the area near Sherman Circle North, a quiet neighborhood in Miramar before all this, they made the worst discovery imaginable. Hidden in the bushes beside an apartment building, police found the body of a young man. The body was found just outside the apartment building where DJ lived. All that time, he had been there, right near his own home. Officers were led to the body by scattered bloodstains on the sidewalk. From an initial examination, the body had 2 fatal wounds, one to the neck and one to the chest. A knife was also found nearby, hidden in the bushes next to the body.
Can you go back inside?
How you gonna put the evidence right there in front of the police face, bro?
In a few minutes, an officer will come talk to you. Go back inside. Listen, I can't answer anything right now. I just need you to go inside the apartment and stay there till I can get somebody to speak to you, please. Listen, what did I just ask? Just give us a few minutes and somebody will come and talk to you. Just give me a few minutes. Go ahead and go inside.
After speaking with DJ's family and asking them to remain patient, officers immediately blocked off the area surrounding the body and began processing the scene for evidence. 4 officers were on scene working to secure the area, search for evidence, and confirm the identity of the victim as quickly as possible.
Aquí abajo, sí. Ahí abajo del estebo que está ahí había mucha sangre, inclusive probablemente están tratando de limpiarlo. Hay una cámara aquí, hay 2 cámaras aquí y hay una cámara en esa esquina donde lo tiraron. Sunday, he went missing Sunday.
So the body right there.
A quiet, close-knit community where news spreads fast. So when word got out about the brutal discovery
Is that a motel or something, bro?
tips started pouring in almost immediately. Several people came to police headquarters, hoping the information they had might help. Among them was a woman who walked into the lobby holding her teenage niece's phone.
Ouch, what the
She wanted to
fuck?
tell police about a private group chat that had caught her attention. At the time,
Private group.
officers had no idea
Alpha.
that this small piece of information would end up being the key to solving the entire case.
Let me guess, it was an Instagram group chat or something.
I know I've seen on the news that they found a body over by Sherman Circle and they keep showing the picture of the kid that goes to Miramar. I think they can't guarantee that it's him, basically, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
But all my nieces saw all the texts coming through that they're all friends. There's people from school there and they know it's there. I just came here because my nieces told me that she had got these texts from this girl yesterday from the home, and she said it was the most traumatizing day of her life when she seen him yesterday, which would have been Sunday. So in my mind, 1 and 1, I'm not saying she did anything, but I'm not saying I can't come here and not show you either because she sees one keeps saying, tell everybody in the people she's dealing and shooting it, which, I mean, it could be just to be, you know, the school or to be tough. But like, you know, same thing, I don't want the text messages here, I don't want them to show my nieces. She said, 101.
Over there stuttering and shit like that. But I ain't blaming her, bro. Now this probably her first time even like a dead bodies and shit, murder and shit, so I ain't blaming her.
By the next day, Wednesday, the victim's identity was finally confirmed. The body belonged to DJ Grant, the Miramar High School student who had been reported missing.
And Nicole, there are still so many more questions and answers at this
You could have said that when the mother was out there crying like a motherfucker, bro. The police acting like they didn't even know and shit.
Officers found a body in the bushes.
Now, police had to start putting the broken pieces of the puzzle together. The evidence from the crime scene, and more importantly, the group chat that the woman had brought to them. Inside the chat, police found disturbing messages linked to 3 teens, 3 names that within hours would become central to the investigation. 17-year-old Andre Dexter Clements, 16-year-old Jaslyn Smith, and 17-year-old Christy Parisian. Without wasting any time, officers began tracking them down. Christy was the first person police went to.
Miramar Police Department. How you doing, ma'am? Right now there's an investigation. And I guess it's your daughter?
That's my dude's gonna help him get around, bro.
You out of the house for now?
Me?
Yes. Nothing has to do with you, person, but we have to keep everybody out of.
This shit's stupid, bro. Big ass shit.
That's in there.
My baby sister, she's at work off now.
But nobody else is inside.
No, only two of us.
You got shoes on? So right now, we're just gonna make sure nobody's inside, and then we're gonna close the door, and then we're gonna wait for the watch to get here. Sit down. Search warrant.
My sister is okay with my phone? My phone is okay. Can I call her? Because I'm looking on her.
Well, right now at this point, we already gave you notice that nobody can go back inside.
This is right there, right? The green door, you see my phone right there?
We really gotta follow protocol.
At this point, officers didn't have a warrant, so they wouldn't allow Christie's mother to go inside the house. She waited outside with them until another law enforcement member arrived with a warrant. While they were waiting, she told them that earlier that day, Christie had left her a voice message about the murder. Because of that, they changed course and retrieved the phone so the message could be played. By now, the police had already spoken with Christie at the station. Her mother wasn't able to provide any additional information. The officers informed her that no one from the family was allowed to leave.
So are you gonna be around here, or are you sticking around here, or are you leaving? You're not going anywhere, right?
No, I was going to the police station.
You know what I mean, right now.
I'm looking for my sister to go to the police station because my sister is out.
The next person on the list was Jaslyn Smith. The officers
She's 16? She like 32.
11 p.m. that same night. Outside her family's apartment, they spoke with her while her mother was present.
Did you hurt this person's license? I was just going to push him.
How you gonna ask me like that in front of the police, mama?
I know exactly what happened. You told me that you were trying to do something. I don't know what you did. I don't know what you didn't do.
That's a girl? Feel like a boy.
To keep him in a corner.
Andre.
Okay.
Andre told me that somebody at this mall, that somebody was messing with somebody else's girl or something. It had to do with some messaging. And that he was upset and that he needed some backup for his fight. He told me it was just a fight.
Jaslyn had been told to trap DJ in the stairwell. Andre needed backup for the fight, which was apparently over a girl, Andre's ex, who was now involved with DJ.
Wow, hey that nigga, man, this nigga, see that nigga looking like he probably be trying to gangbanging and all, bro. They said he just be gamering and shit like that, bro. He looking like, bro, ain't no way a nigga like this done took my bitch, bro. And the nigga killed him for that shit. Hey, bro. If you get in a new relationship, bro, you gotta make sure she got some exes out the way. You feel me? I don't know, bro. Like, and then y'all young as hell, fool. 16, 17 and shit like, bro, about a bit, bro. Come on, fool. It's not your wife. Don't do it. Don't crash out. It's not your wife.
What she has to say, but I wanted to reiterate because I said it to you and she wasn't here.
He told me, dress up in all black and follow her.
Andre?
Look at her mama looking at her like, you better tell them all that want it.
Just do this for me. Help me out with the fight. We walked all the way there and walked up the stairway. And Chrissy was there. Chrissy had seduced him for a while. I was trying to understand that he forget that it didn't happen. I already knew that if something like this was going to happen, I already knew the cops were going to show up sooner or later. I was already preparing myself for the worst. Mom, what are you about preparing yourself for the worst? It's exactly right, Mom.
mastermind behind the whole murder was Andre. He even picked out the colors of the clothes. The plan was just a fight. Jaslyn clearly tried to downplay her own role and choices.
If that nigga had he only had a knife, but if that nigga had a fire, he would have probably faced him, fool. He probably would have faced dude.
But over the next half hour, the
don't y'all go to college, nigga?
And her mother.
Don't y'all go to college, nigga?
Learn the truth from her words, shocking them to their core. Things her 16-year-old daughter had done were far beyond what her mother could have imagined.
She was stabbing too.
One of you can create your own website by saying...
Yeah, she was the one stabbing the motherfucker the worst, probably. Oh, folks.
Detectives were still putting the pieces together with no clear reason to make an arrest. But Jaslyn knew what was coming. She knew there was no escape. And she had already prepared herself for the worst.
Because like everything I've already said, I'm gonna prove it. And I know this. I'm sorry.
Sorry what? I know love, not damn. That's about you going to prison.
The female officer at the scene can be seen.
How you gonna look at him?
Smith lets out a sigh. But there's nothing.
No way she just laughed. Why are they laughing about this shit?
Nothing funny about what's happening.
What the fuck?
A teenager has been killed and Jaslyn has just admitted her role in what happened. She's now given police a motive. Andre had found himself in the middle of a high school love triangle between DJ and his ex-girlfriend. That's when the dark thoughts started and the plan began to take shape. A plan that would need help. Before Sunday, before any of this began, Andre had reached out to her. He told her about the planned fight and the help he needed. Now sitting in a police car beside her mother, the officer asks Jaslyn to walk them through everything, step by step, starting from that moment.
So I'd like for you to kind of tell me, step by step, on how everything occurred. You know?
Before Sunday, before he came over,
Who's he?
Andre,
Now her mama know like, oh yeah, she's snitching.
before he ever came over,
She don't give a fuck though. She worry about her kids, bro.
I believe it was Friday, that he had a situation that he needed to deal with, and he was wondering if I could help him out with a fight. Knowing that
I needed help for a fight. Why would you need help for a fight? Because you know shit might go left, right?
We have that kid-ish.
I feel like I ain't even want to fight for real, bro.
Agreed, because he's a good friend of mine.
The only thing he want to do is kill that motherfucker and get him out the way, bro.
He was going to be coming over in an hour.
You thought Shorty was gonna come back to you just because you killed him?
At least 6:45, close to 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And he had proceeded to tell me the whole scenario of we're gonna get dressed in all black. You're gonna wear clothes that you don't care about. You're gonna wear clothes, you're gonna wear do-rag. I know the whole layout of the building.
Andre already knew that Jaslyn had a reputation for fighting when she was younger. That was exactly why he chose her.
She recruited him.
He even picked out what Jaslyn should wear.
Is she the one in the middle?
And protect her hair. Jaslyn's account helps clarify the days leading up to the murder, but one thing stands out. She repeatedly tries to downplay her role, presenting herself as someone who was merely influenced rather than involved. A claim that within minutes would be completely undermined by a small slip she made.
We had gotten dressed, we had prepared. I got home. We had told her that we were going to go on a walk. He was explaining to me that the person that me and him were going to fight with, that we were going to seduce, had messed with a girl that he knew and had, essentially from what I know. And on the way there, he's telling me exactly where we're going to walk, exactly how we're going to walk, exactly what we're going to do, and we're going to wait for him before a signal. And I was like, okay, this is definitely...
Who was doing stabbing?
After there, we had walked over to where the staircase was. While he was telling me to move this way to avoid a camera and to avoid things. So we
Her mama
had
look
walked
mad
up the
as fuck.
stairs while Kristen stayed
Her mama probably look. Her mad look like her mama look mad as shit. I keep seeing him go like tomboy.
while he was telling me to move this way to avoid a camera and to avoid things. So we had walked up the stairs while Kristen stayed downstairs.
It's a premeditated or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Me and him were upstairs. He's just talking to me. We're relaxed and we're chill. And then he got a signal from Chrissy to walk downstairs. And he had a weapon with him. He told me to hold the weapon. We had gloves on at this time still. We had walked
right there
downstairs. He had approached the boy, and Chrissy had moved back and walked down the stairs.
Did you know this boy? Or no?
Boy tried to make a run with it, run for it after Andre approached him and was like, yeah, we have a love. He has me standing behind. Chrissy looked at me and he made a run for it, and I'm like, okay, but it's just intimidation. I ran and I helped Andre to tackle him and put him on the ground.
Jaslyn uses the word weapon. Even though she's detailed and specific in almost every other part of her story, she keeps this part vague. We already know DJ was found with 2 stab wounds, so whatever the weapon was, it clearly wasn't a gun. What that weapon actually was, and why Jaslyn avoided naming it, becomes clear later in the interview.
She was the one stabbing shit.
Andre asked for the weapon after explaining to him that he was going to kill the other boy. He had asked for the weapon, and I just handed it to him because I'm like, I don't know about this, but I'm like, okay, maybe you're joking, because me and Andre, our playful, we like to mess around and we do like play fight, and we're just very like a sibling type.
But this time, nothing felt like a joke. The weapon he used, the level of planning involved, his behavior, and the sheer intensity of the violence he unleashed all point to the same conclusion. This was a planned killing, not a spontaneous act.
He proceeded to pick out a small weapon and attempt to, and he was failing, and I was just like, okay, I can see it because I'm holding his legs. So I'm in a position where I'm holding both of his legs and my arms under torso, and I just feel poking right here.
Jaslyn claims she didn't know Andre's full plan, but she did admit that she helped, holding DJ down even after the stabbing began. As disturbing as that is, Jaslyn never stopped or showed regret during the attack, not when DJ was begging for help, not even as he was slipping in and out of consciousness after being stabbed.
They made that nigga suffer. That's fucked up, my nigga. That's fucked up. Just because she wants some different dick, you killed that nigga, the weirdo. Hell no.
And then he had another smaller weapon, and he took that out, and he grabbed him right here. The boy was just like, you're gonna kill me, or just choke me out, or like end it, because he kept going in and out.
DJ knew he was dying. Under the pressure and pain he was in, he begged Andre to choke him and end it quickly. Andre ignored him and stabbed him again. After that, DJ went unresponsive. He stopped struggling and tragically died at the scene. In Jaslyn's version of events, she says she was told to do what she was assigned without asking questions. As the confrontation escalated, she says she didn't fight back because she was terrified of what might happen. Throughout her account, she places nearly all the blame on Andre.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Until Jaslyn
give her life just like how you finna give Andre life.
Seriously undermines her claim that she didn't know this was a murder plan, and instead places her right at the center of it.
Prior to this, he had told me that this was the first person he had ever killed.
How many times you had told that?
When we were at the house, we were just talking about the whole plan, what to do, what was going to happen, but he never told me that he was going to kill somebody until at this time. You know, this is the first person. At least here, I'll ask Chrissy.
Mama, why you ain't tell your kid like stop talking? We finna get you a lawyer, bruh. Damn, it's already bad.
That single detail changes everything. It shows that Jaslyn knew about the murder plan long before it happened. Now her story starts to crack. It directly contradicts her earlier claim that she had no idea this was meant to be a killing. At this point, it's clear she was far more involved in both the planning and the decision than she had admitted. That's when the officer shifts the focus and asks about the weapon used in the attack.
I'm assuming it's a knife then that he had?
There's a knife.
A longer what? A sword. Okay.
A knife is something that can be
That's all a mama really and the parents really trying to do is like protect their kids and kick them out the streets, kick them out of jail. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully they don't get off in the streets or whatever. But like, it's like, damn. She knew, bro. She knew what the fuck was going on, bro.
easily concealed, but a sword isn't.
But why did he have
something like that? Would be.
But if 1, 2 doing all that shit, why they got that other girl, like, the one with the glasses, why is she even around? Is she just to be there? Now you finna get life too like them just because you was there and you ain't say nothing about it. But I know something what you told him. You was in the goddamn police station the first day or some shit. You called your mama and told her that shit. Bruh.
Almost impossible. It's hard to believe that Jaslyn and Christy could have been around Andre all that time without noticing the sword. Now detectives finally have enough pieces to start shaping a version of events that's much closer to the truth. But before moving forward, they still needed to make sure the physical evidence matched the story.
So you saw the big sword when he first showed up here in the first place?
I didn't see it exactly. I saw that there was a bag with it, and I was like, okay. Because somebody else had taken everything out of the house behind us, and I didn't know where that was. And I believe it was either in like a jacket with him, or it was Chrissy in an extra jacket or a bag with him.
Jaslyn could tell detectives were zero
Chrissy just dumb as shit.
detail. She knew about the sword before they ever left the house, and that meant she knew the plan from the start. She tried to distance herself from it, saying that when they left, Andre grabbed a small knife and a larger sword, but she claimed she didn't actually see the sword at first and assumed it was already in the bag. Detectives weren't convinced. By now, there were too many gaps in her story. The teens believed they had pulled off the perfect crime. They killed someone in broad daylight in a tucked-away stairwell inside a busy apartment complex, avoided security cameras, and left no direct eyewitnesses. If the group chat messages hadn't surfaced later, they might have gotten away with it. But everything started to fall apart after the attack. They dragged DJ's body into the bushes, packed the weapons and supplies into a bag, and returned to Jaslyn's complex.
She got everything in that big-ass bag. That's what Chrissy did.
There, they made a serious mistake. In an open, grassy area, clearly visible from nearby apartments, they started a fire and burned the bloody clothes using gasoline. As they sat there, shaken, but still hoping they were in the clear, a security guard spotted them. In that moment, the cover-up ended, and he wasn't the only one watching. Another resident had seen them too and later told police exactly what she saw.
The 2 girls, they were just standing there, but they weren't moving much. The chubby girl, she was just like moving back and forth, like standing in the same spot but moving a little bit. And then the guy was moving around the fire, just throwing more gasoline. I didn't see their face, but I saw their body shape. And seeing them on the photos, you could picture them, especially the chubby girl. You could feel the traumatization from them, and you could feel like they were scared, but you could also feel like
they weren't scared.
They had that energy of the way of thinking like he deserved it. Like you could notice that.
Them acting dumb must be them being nervous and scared. I ain't gonna lie. I I'm trying to say that.
Security camera footage from the apartment complex backed up much of Jaslyn's story.
Especially
the cameras showed the three teens dressed entirely in black as they approached the stairwell where DJ was attacked. One camera even captured DJ Grant's final moments. Another showed the teens dragging his body toward the bushes exactly as described. But as detectives reviewed everything more closely, cracks began to appear. Parts of Jaslyn's version didn't fully line up. Police...
Bro, they brought this nigga all the way from the stairs all the way to the bushes and killed him. Where the ex? Where she at? What she look like? Come on, bro.
Seized the teens' phones and went through their messages. It didn't take long to find something that directly contradicted Jaslyn's claim that this was only meant to be a fight. One message revealed the true mindset behind the plan.
White DJ Grant was killed back in October, and for months now, the three teens that are accused in his case have been kept in jail.
All the evidence was clear. Within days, police moved in on all three suspects. Jaslyn Smith, Christy Parisian, and Andre Clements were all arrested. Each of them was charged as an adult. All three were charged with tampering with evidence and conspiracy to commit murder. Christy and Jaslyn were each charged with second-degree murder. Both eventually pleaded guilty and were sentenced to 25 years in prison, followed by an additional 10 years of probation. Andre Clements, who was 17 at the time, was considered the mastermind behind the crime and the one who delivered the fatal sword strike that killed DJ. He faced the most serious charge, first-degree premeditated murder. On February 18th, 2025, Andre Clements, now 20 years old, also pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison, followed by lifetime probation.
That's OG.
Loyal, honest person.
And he got 40. This motherfucker got 25, shorty. With 30? Damn. OC. Y'all just got cranked. Big shorty, she snitched, so she probably got it last time.
Would be there for you in a second in a heartbeat.
I ain't even trying to give it to us, bro.